Perhaps one of the most powerful retouching tools you have in Photoshop, beyond just the spot healing brush tool, is something called Liquify. Now you kind of have to decide what kind of Photoshop user you are, because Liquify can be used for good or evil, depending on your perspective. It's a very powerful tool that can be used to reshape different parts of an image, and it's most commonly used to do body sculpting. So I've got an image here. We're going to do some tasteful retouching to correct for the fact that the wind was blowing pretty hard this day, and it picked up her shirt and pushed it a little bit forward. What we want to do is just correct for that and actually just shape the shirt a little bit to match her real contour of her body. And I happen to know this guy's been working out a little bit since the shot was taken, so we want to beef up his calves to show off his good work there. So those are the two things we want to adjust for this particular image. We're going to use something called Liquify, like we said, but before we actually use the Liquify command, we want to make sure we do this on a duplicate layer so we have our original untouched. Again, let's duplicate this layer, Command J or Control J to duplicate up to its own layer. Let's go ahead and change its name by double-clicking on the name, and we'll call this Liquify. All right, we're ready to proceed. Let's go back to the filter menu and choose the Liquify command. It's one of the 4 listed up here at the top. And this takes you kind of into an alternate editing environment. It takes over the whole screen. You've got your own set of tools over here for working in Liquify. The basic tool is just the basic warp tool, technically called the forward warp tool. And 9 out of 10 times when I'm working inside Liquify, that's the only tool I actually end up using, other than panning and zooming. So it works by using a particular brush size. Let's go ahead and increase the brush size. All the shortcuts that you're used to with the regular brush tool work inside Liquify as well. So the right bracket key makes the brush bigger. The left bracket key makes the brush smaller. Of course, you can always go back over here and actually change the brush details over here in the tool options, if that's a little bit quicker for you. And what you want to do is push from the edge of the brush, not the center. Right? If I push from the center, you'll see I get some pretty extreme changes there. I'm going to go ahead and undo that. You do have multiple undo inside Liquify, so if I do 2 strokes here, I can undo Command Z or Control Z, just like in regular Photoshop, undoes and redoes the last thing you did. So to get to multiple undo, it's Command Option Z or Control Alt Z until you step backwards all the way. So as I said earlier, you don't want to push from the center of the brush, you want to push from the edge. So what we're going to do is just line up the cursor with the edge of that shirt a little bit and start just gentle pushing using multiple small strokes and build up the desired effect over time by using lots of little individual push and pulls here. If you do too big of a jump like that, you start getting really noticeable distortions. So that's not what I want. I'm going to undo that. And you just want to do very soft, small pushes to get this to look realistic. Okay, so you can see how easy it is just to push this shirt over to the left, but still make it look believable. In the process, you're actually adjusting his shirt on either side as well. So you can get some pretty good results there. Again, you don't want to overdo it, just small, gentle touches. Now for his calves, we're going to go on the inside of his leg here a little bit, and we'll just gently push outward to beef up the calves a little bit. Again, you don't want to make it look ridiculous. This is where I was commenting earlier. You can use it for good or evil. You can make it look completely comical and cartoonish, or you can do really modest adjustments that look very, very real. So we'll go ahead and just beef up that calf just slightly. Okay, let's go ahead and click OK. And you'll see, because I did this on a separate layer, here's before and there's after. So again, just a real tasteful retouch using the power of Liquify for good as opposed to evil. And you can get some really realistic and believable results without a lot of work.